what's going on, boys and girls? Welcome, Cage Side with Christopher James, Monday Night Fun coming your way. Live from the Cage Side with Christopher James studios, we are kicking it for you. We're going to have a little conversation tonight about all kinds of silly stuff. We're going to talk about UFC 249 being canceled by the Democratic Party. We're also going to talk about WWE now being established as an essential business in the state of Florida today. And, of course, I want to know, we're taking a survey, a poll, if you will, who's balling? Who's rolling in the cash right now since they ain't out in the club every night dropping money on the booze and the ladies and all that good stuff? So all kinds of good stuff, man. Thanks for coming in and hanging out with me tonight, man. Appreciate you. Put some comments up. Let me know what's going on. Let's chat. I'm also watching Monday Night Raw, but I'm a little behind. So what I'm going to do is go 550. I watch on the DVR, but I'll go back and watch the beginning later because I started watching it late. So right now we're on Monday Night Raw. There's a commercial on. But there's a few things out there that, just are crazy. First of all, I had a good day today. I was delivering groceries for Shipt. I enjoyed the hell out of that. Was able to help some people out today. Get them the groceries they need. Jacob Kilburn. Hey, Jacob, if you want to jump in with me, man, let me know, and I'll send you a link, and you can jump in the show. But we're here. Jacob the Killer Kilburn. What's up, baby? Yeah, that Island Fights, baby. Shout out to my man, Dean Toole from Island Fights. Yeah, I don't know how that happened, Cozart, but, I'm not going to complain because we're going to have live WWE now. But we'll get into that a little bit later on. First thing I want to do is check in with everybody, see how you're all doing today. Hope everybody's having a good day. If you're above ground and you're on the right side of the grass, you good. So, that's how we do. And like I said, Jacob, if you want to jump in, man, send me a message hit me up on Messenger. I'll send you a link. You can join me on the show. You let me know, dude. I'll bring you in right now. I'll send you a link. Let me get the link here. Copy the clipboard. All righty. And we'll jump out of that. We'll jump over to here. All right. So, Jacob, I'm going to send you a link. All you got to do is follow the instructions on the link, and you'll be all right. If you got headphones, put them on. That'd be great. And we'll see you in here in just a minute. So it looks like we're going to have a special guest jumping in. Oop. Dang it. Cozart, how you do? Oh, man, I can't even type today. So we are live, like I said, right here. Cage Side with Christopher James. WWE is now an essential business. But before we jump into that, you should be getting a link here any second, Jacob, and just follow the instructions on the link. So UFC 249 is supposed to go down this Saturday night from Tashi Palace in California. However, it's not happening. And I'll explain why. I'm going to bring in my boy right now, Island Fights veteran, and the man himself. They call him the Killer. He is the one and only Jacob the Killer Kilburn. Hold on, I got to put my headphones in.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Ugh.
So, if you don't know, Phil Rowe had a car crash today.
Oh, now my headphones ain't working? What's up with that shit? All right. What the hell? That's weird.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Can everybody else hear us with no echo? You don't hear any echo?
Nope.
All right. Well, I don't hear you on my thing. Normally I do. So we'll just leave it like this for now. And if I have to restart, and then we'll restart. But first of all, welcome, brother. Good to see you, man. All the love. Your beard is freaking dope, bro. Look at you.
It's getting longer, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no barber shops. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy that there are no barber shops out there open. But
Phil Rowe.
All right, I got the headphones working now. There we go. So yeah, Phil Rowe will go over there and cut your hair. Go up see Phil. I'm going to go see Phil hopefully one day this week or on the weekend because I need to get my hair did.
Did you see his Facebook post like an hour ago?
Yeah, he got into a car accident. Some guy hit him, man. That shit's fucked up. In his own neighborhood, 100 yards from his house, man.
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy story.
I can't wait to see the TikTok video he makes of that one.
Oh, no.
All right, so guys, we're talking with Jacob Killer Kilburn right here, and I'm going to jump into UFC 249, and I want to get his take on it. The Democratic Party, which controls California, called the folks at Disney, and they said, we don't want you to do this, even though it's on the Indian reservation, which makes them a sovereign nation. They don't have to follow the rules of the state, but they put the screws to Dana White, and they said, we don't want you to do it. Dana, of course, I'm sure unwillingly as hell gave in. But you could tell with this posture and his body language when he was talking about it that he was not happy about it. And, so that sucked. But the Democrats, because Dana White has a relationship with Donald Trump, our president. For those of you that don't know and don't want to admit it, just remember, don't cash that stimulus check if he ain't your president. So,
yeah.
But so they called.
I'll cash yours.
Yeah, send him to me, man. He's my president. I'm proud. So, but they canceled the event due to the pressure from the state of California, which honestly, if I was the folks at Tashi Palace, I would file a lawsuit in federal court because they cost the state of California cost a sovereign nation money and business.
Yeah, I've never considered that. That's good. They're onto something there.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be some kind of precedent set. They can't do anything. I mean, now I don't know if they were over there, committing murders of people right on their grounds. Maybe our government could step in and go, all right, man, you guys are getting a little too crazy. But stopping a fight event, no, man. The state of California governor crossed a line, and I hope they have to fucking pay. I hope Tashi Palace sues the shit out of the state of California and fucking gets paid.
It's
I got
possible.
a yoo-hoo. That's my yoo-hoo right there, by the way. It's my
I got you. I was wondering what was going on.
Yeah, it sounded really weird, right?
That whole thing that affected some friends of mine, like Greg Hardy. I've got coaches of mine that were supposed to go corner fighters at that event, and now they're losing money. So yeah, it's not good.
Yeah. I'd like to say hello to Devin Adams, matchmaker for Island Fights, tuned in. I'd also like to shout out my friend Michael Stets-Deskowski. He is a play-by-play guy. He's a radio host. He's been involved in the sport for a long time. Here's his comment coming up. Canceled by the Democrats. Interesting take. Well, Mike, think about it. The Democrats, especially in California, don't like Donald Trump. Dana White, the president of the UFC, has an outstanding relationship with President Donald Trump. I mean, he's spoken at, official state gatherings, and they talk all the time. They're friends. And California just doesn't like Trump, the Democrats, and all that stuff, and they're still pissed that Trump became president. This, in my opinion, was 100% retribution by the Democratic Party. And I hate to bring politics into the fight game, but it's shady, dude. It's shady. How can a sovereign nation be forced to not do an event because, the company that was going to go in there and do the event on sovereign land, is a company outside? There's all kinds of crap going on with that. So let me ask you, Jacob, you're a smart young man. You're a God-fearing man. I know sometimes I get potty mouth. I don't mean to, especially when I talk to you because, I know you go, yeah, it's people are people, and you don't judge me for it, but I try to be respectful and not drop the bombs. But during this conversation, I might drop a few, so I apologize in advance. So tell me your take. I want you to give me your take on the cancellation, and if there's any, if you have any thought to think that what I said about the governor stepping in and maybe some retribution against Donald Trump or Dana White because of his relationship with Donald Trump has any factor on this cancellation.
I hadn't considered the politics side of it a whole lot, until you had brought it up. I did think it was a little weird with there being the reservation. I wasn't sure how that worked. Ultimately, there's a lot of like things that appear to be black and white, legality, freedom, things like that are actually, they're just an illusion. And we're learning through times like this that really the government can do whatever they want. And there's nothing you can do about it. So I hadn't considered the politics side of it very much. What I did, like, if I had a son or a daughter right now, I would use this as a good teaching moment, as it would apply in our household, just because we're an MMA family. But even Dana White, there somebody in life. So you always answer to the man. There's always, no matter how high you go, you're always going to have somebody that you have to answer to. Even the guy that essentially runs the MMA world. People at Disney and ESPN called him. They're like, "Hey, don't do it," and he didn't do it. So he could have. He would. That just. So I don't know. This is a weird situation. I hadn't considered the politics. I'm going to look into that though, because
it's something
I think
that we
you're
have
right.
to think
There might
about.
be a case. Yes, for sure. And if they wanted to push for that, maybe somebody like, not Dana, who's got a really good working relationship with ESPN and wants to respect them, but somebody like a Scott Coker could pursue that and go for. I don't know. That's good to think about.
I think now if Coker tried to do an event in California at Tashi Palace, I think they would have to shut him down, even if they didn't want to, because they couldn't do it to Dana and then not to him, because then it would be a blatant case of favoritism. Right. And, so as dumb as they are for canceling it in the first place, they can't do that. It would just be too easily seen in the public. And by the way, shout out to Matt Weibel from First Round Management. He wants to know, and I was going to ask the same question, who is an ideal matchup for Jacob Kilburn upon his return? Now, I've had a couple of people tell me that they want to see the Battle of Clarksville, Tennessee, and they want to see Jacob Kilburn versus Nate the Train Landwehr. Both of you guys, by the way, I love you both. Before I ever met you, I announced Nate's fights at XFC. He went overseas, and he did a great job over there, became a champion for M1. He's a phenomenal fighter. His first UFC fight didn't go his way. Your first UFC fight didn't go your way. You guys have a lot in common in your careers, but the hometown, it's so cool that two guys from such a small town. Matt Weibel goes, damn, I never even thought of that. Come on, Matt, what you thinking, bro? Get together.
I've been pushing for that for so long. That would be it. That would be the one for sure.
Isn't it crazy how you guys never ran across each other in the regional scene, especially because you're from such a small area? How did it not happen?
It didn't. I don't know. I guess it didn't make a lot of sense. That we just kind of avoided the drama for a long time. It wasn't. There were just matches that were gonna on your route to the UFC. For me, it wasn't about getting wins. It was about getting the correct experience. And if you're not able to beat people, then you don't need to get there. And that just wasn't a matchup that I felt was going to force me to level up, like stylistically. I fought people when I fought people regionally. It was people who had gone out and done these other shows, and we were both fighting locally at the same time. So it would just have been me fighting another local guy, and it didn't make a lot of sense. So anytime I fought locally, we would, like, I fought Elvin Brito in my hometown,
right.
Things like that. And then when I started going and fighting out, regional or outside in Florida and Alabama and Georgia and places like that, he was off doing his thing in Russia, and by the time the fight made sense, he was under contract. It just wasn't going to work. On top of the fact that I think the guy that was managing him at the time was a friend of mine, and probably knew that it wasn't smart. So I don't know. For whatever reason, it just didn't happen. We kind of avoided I try to always avoid the stuff that's trash talk leading up to it, because it's that puts my family, my friends, my followers in a position where they're going to be, and not necessarily him, but the team behind him would have just been crazy. We've had to deal with that before.
Right.
When I fought another guy from the team, actually the striking coach from that gym. So, just we've been through that route before, and I just decided it was going to have to be a bigger paycheck on the line to have to deal with all the trash talk. And you can avoid it if you want, but if you log in your social media at all, you're going to see it. So, but yeah, the UFC had tried to match me with a guy named Sean Woodson, big dude. I would be fine with that. Yeah. Of course, they asked me to take it on 2 weeks' notice. And when they called, I still had another week before I was even cleared by the doctor to spar, because I had facial fractures from the last fight. So I couldn't take it. I was tempted to anyways, but I wasn't even medically cleared by Dr. Jeff in Nevada to fight yet. So, either one of those, it doesn't matter. Honestly, anybody, as soon as everything gets up and running again, I'm here at ATT full time now. So, I'm in my new apartment.
Yeah.
And, give me a full training camp, and anybody, doesn't matter.
Devin Adams says he thinks you and Bruce Leroy would be a fun fight.
Yeah. So I said that before. Somebody asked me that one time on my Instagram feed, and I said that would be a really fun fight. Now ranking wise, he's probably ahead of me quite a bit. So I'd probably have to win a fight or two before I could get that. But I don't know if he's been on a losing streak lately or not. But that would be another one of those fights where you don't have to worry about the guy trying to wrestle you the whole time. So that would be a fun one for sure.
Oh man, Israel, that's just wrong, bro. My boy Israel, because the other thing that popped up today was it was announced in the state of Florida that the WWE is now considered an essential business, and they can do shows. I have a link here, and I'm going to read you just real quick from it, because I get you caught up on the situation, Jacob. I don't know how much of a wrestling fan you are, but me and Devin Adams kill that stuff. So it says today that this is on ESPN. WWE was deemed an essential business in Florida. Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings said Monday, allowing the company to resume live television shows from its Orlando training facility and Full Sail University in Winter Park, where they host. And that decision was reversed after some conversation with Governor DeSantis' office, Deming said during a Monday news press conference. I think initially there was a review that was done. They were not initially deemed essential. With some conversation with the governor regarding the governor's order, they were deemed essential. So therefore, they were allowed to remain open. Essential businesses are supposed to remain open during the state's stay-at-home order, include those in the healthcare, financial, energy, food, communication, and transportation sectors. And it goes on, blah, 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 blah. So tonight's show, Monday Night Raw, is live from Orlando. I love the WWE since I was a kid. I watch it. I've been to 7 WrestleManias. I was out at WrestleMania last time 2 years ago. Took my nephew. Actually, my nephew took me because Make-A-Wish took him, and he brought me. He said he wasn't going to go without Uncle Chris. And we met Ronda Rousey out there. She was so nice. I mean, it was such a great experience. But I loved wrestling even before that. I love it even more now. So I don't know what kind of shenanigans were pulled in the governor's office by Vince McMahon, if they just paid off. And look, my boy Israel Cantu, who does builds cages and production for all the regional shows down here, he says, I bet Vince McMahon is laughing at Dana White. First of all, Israel, Dana White, the capital W should be there. disrespectful, Israel. I'm very ashamed of you. But seriously, I don't think Vince is laughing at Dana White. I think Dana White and Vince, because they're friends and they know each other. And Dana White was talking about Vince, saying that the only other person who had the balls to do anything
is Vince.
Vince. So they're probably having a conversation right now, figuring out. Dana's going, how the fuck did you get Florida to make you essential? And how do I get the same designation? I also want to, speaking of Florida, Dana White had mentioned in an article about, or in an interview about the Taipei Palace, he said if he couldn't do it there, he already had another state that was willing to sanction it. That state was Florida. Yes. I can confirm 100%. You guys can believe me or not. The state of Florida is open for business when it comes to combat sports. As long as a promoter can find a venue, the state will sanction it. And that's trust me, that's 100%. That is like word. Scouts honor. Is that how you do Scouts honor? 3 fingers.
That's the Hunger Games. I don't know.
Or 2 fingers. I don't know. Whatever it is. Scouts honor. Anyway, so that was the other backup plan for the state of for Dana White. But again, California shit all over it. WWE just got approved to be open for business, doing live shows. So, what's your take on that, Mr. Kilburn?
I don't know what essential means, honestly. You can still go get milkshakes to go. You can go to Home Depot. If you're not a contractor, you're just a normal guy and you want to buy some deck lights. You can. There's nothing essential about that. There's a lot of things that you can still do.
The dry cleaner is deemed essential. I don't think that's an essential.
Then if that's the case, then if they're going to lock us all down in our homes and shut everything down and essentially force us to quarantine, then entertainment is essential, if you want to use that logic. So I don't know what strings were pulled. People that make a lot of money and bring a lot of money in just have more power. So there's no telling what happened behind the scenes. We probably won't know. Obviously, it's not essential, but I guess Florida is just a little bit gangster. So I don't know. But I mean,
and now you're a resident, bro. Cool. You're a resident now, so you part of the G community, dog.
Oh no, yeah, I guess that's.
Oh, dude, now you are part of anything Florida man too. Just in case you were wondering, you can take credit for all that shit now.
Go Gators!
No, you're down in South Florida. You can't root for the Gators. You root for the Miami Hurricanes.
Oh, okay. I don't watch that stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. You're just an MMA guy. You don't really pay attention to all the other stuff anyway. So that being out of, so for you, basketball and all that stuff going away doesn't even affect you.
It's a blessing that's
MMA being gone. Yeah. MMA being gone make Jacob a little crazy. Devin Adams. Here's one from Devin Adams for you.
Yeah, if you go to Tennessee,
OSP, baby.
It's all orange. Just some people get crazy about that stuff.
Nuts.
Yeah, that's okay though.
Yeah,
you got to have something that they identify themselves with that. Like that's if there was no Vols, if there was no college football, there would be people that just their lives meant nothing. They had nothing. It was weird.
In Texas, if you don't have high school football, people want to jump off a building.
Yeah, apparently that's
So I want to ask you something else too. Speaking of, we're talking about school. We just kind of segued right in. Master Ricardo Laborio, who formerly, controlled everything in American Top Team, and then he moved on. He lives up in the Orlando area. He moved up there mainly because of his daughter Bella. She's blind, and she needed to go to a special school, and it was the best school for her. So he left American Top Team. He did some consulting for them for a little while, but now he's doing other stuff up there. But one of the things he was able to do was get jiu-jitsu implemented into an actual college curriculum, and you can get college credit for it. It's definitely a game changer. It's an innovation that we haven't seen.
Very cool.
So I want to know your opinion. You're a professional mixed martial artist. You train in jiu-jitsu all the time. Had jiu-jitsu been available to you in college or in high school, do you think that would have been a good thing? And back then, and do you think it's something that absolutely should be implemented in schools today? not just for the sport aspect of turning into a fighter, but for the discipline that you truly learn when you become a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner.
Yeah. How do I put this? So like in Korea, part of their school curriculum, K through 12, is Taekwondo. It's it's a subject area. It's part of your recreation. It's part of the punches, the kicks, the blocks, the stances, the exercises, the discipline, the whatever. And that's one of the martial arts that honestly you don't really have to fight. I mean, it's point fighting and all that, but if you had to do some form of grappling, I think it should be implemented into the education system here. It would be really cool, for if everybody did it in college, but also just coming up. And if you had somebody that's, say, you've been held in a knee on belly for 30 seconds while they squirm and the life drains out of them, you wouldn't have people.
You make that sound so brutal, dude.
Yeah, you wouldn't have people looting stores.
What makes it sound brutal when you said that is because you're so calm. Almost sociopathic in tone, the way you describe that.
It's awful. You can feel the life leaving your body, and there's nothing you can do about it. Like, I mean, do a couple rounds with Renato Moicano, and
nope.
You wouldn't get into Facebook arguments and stuff like that because you'd walk a little more humble. People. I'm just saying, just use Korea as an example. The people that have martial arts as their curriculum, you don't see those type of people robbing stores.
That's true.
I don't know. Maybe there's something to it. So yeah, I think it would do everybody a little bit of good. It's cool. So yes.
Would that be something for Jacob Kilburn to one day become a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu professor after his career is over at a university or even at a high school level?
I never considered that. I would
like to.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? That would be cool. I would definitely push for it. And join whatever committees I needed to or whatever. Obviously, I think that martial arts is a big. It builds character, discipline, makes you stronger as a person. You get lifelong friends out of it. There's tons of benefits to it. Just the community, the self-defense skills, the physical fitness, the confidence, everything, as well as you just kind of learn to be tougher. Honestly, which a lot of people think they're tough. And then, you just kind of get beat up every day for a couple of years. And then you realize, man, I'm tough now. But back then, I was kind of a wimp. So, yeah, I think I would obviously push for it. Who knows? But that would be cool.
Yeah, it would be cool, teaching somebody where they get a college credit for it, help them get their degree.
Right.
And, you get to wear pajamas all day when you go to work.
Yeah, and that's honestly something I don't know. That's obviously a job.
Yeah.
People are called professor. You put your 10, 12 years in or whatever, you get by the time you earn that black belt, you might as well have had a PhD. You've put enough time into it. It probably worked harder. I mean, maybe you didn't stay up late at night taking notes, but you put in the time and the hard work. And both here and physically draining as well. And maybe there's a whole lot of things that something like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu would have better life application than so many of the silly classes that people have to take. I mean, honestly, you got all your core classes, and then you have the stuff that's specifically for your degree. But unless you go to a tech school or something, everybody takes so many classes that they can honestly say, I paid money for that, and I'll never use it. And it's just, but if they would use something like a jiu-jitsu and someone breaks into your house or you witness a mugging, you now have the ability to go control that person until the police get, or whatever. That's a skill you can use. But, understanding whatever, college class you took, this principle and the Pythagorean theorem or whatever, that doesn't, I don't know. It's something to consider for sure.
I think that's the first time anybody said Pythagorean on my show. So we just made some history right there.
That's funny.
Guys, we're talking with Jacob the Killer Kilburn. He's an Island Fights veteran, He's training down American Top Team. He's a UFC fighter now. He's living the dream he wanted to live. But his dream has been put on hold because of the pandemic. But that's all right, because that just gives him time to continue to hone his skills and work on his craft and grow as a fighter and as a human being. So,
right.
Jacob's all about experience and growth. And, so Dean just texted me. He goes, "I'm dying, but I'm going to try to tune into the show."
I texted him today. He said he wasn't feeling very good.
Yeah,
Had some stuff going on.
I talked to him earlier this afternoon, earlier this evening, I should say, when I was getting done making my grocery deliveries for Shipt. So my buddy Israel, who I mentioned earlier, he just put up a post. And since I have you here, Jacob, and you're a man of not just physical fighting and confrontation, you're a man of intellect, and you really do present, good arguments and stuff. Even when I read your stuff, and I'm not an overly religious person, I'm probably not really religious at all at this point in my life. I have some somewhere. I don't know where it is all the time, but I know it's there. But when I read your stuff, most of the time when people put up religious stuff, I just skim past it. When I first met you and I found out how religious you are, I said, you know what, I'm Jacob's friend. I should read what he writes and see if it makes any sense to me. If it does, cool. If it doesn't, I'll just skim past it like I skim everybody else's.
Right.
So I started reading some of your stuff, and the way you write and the way you speak on it, and you translate the word of the Lord, it makes it readable for me. Like I can actually get interested in what you're talking about.
Thank you.
I mean that from the heart.
That's literally the only reason I do this sport, so that people would go, "Hey, I like that guy's fighting. Let me see it. Let me just read what he posted. And if I can just get somebody to read it just for a second, rather than like a TV preacher or something, then that's every punch I ever take to the face is so worth it if I just get somebody's attention for 30 seconds. So that's a good confirmation. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, man. All right. So anyway, I'm going to ask you this because, again, you're a smart guy. So I started reading this while I was listening to you. So here's the post. He says, "The world has changed in 90 days, and realistically, we don't know if things will ever be the same again. Live events, concerts, and entertainment are on hold till further notice. Keeping this in mind, would you be open to purchasing an online ticket for an event that would guarantee you a viewing angle from a seat as if you were at the event? You would get 2 camera angles. Camera 1 would be your view from your seat. The ticket purchased would be based on camera seating location. Camera 2 would be the live production of the show that you would normally see on TV. For production content, you as the viewer get 2 camera views. As the director of the show, we get to see everyone logged in from their webcam, so we have crowd shots and live reactions of the show. So in other words, we would see the show from the second row, and the producers would see all of us watching, because we would have to, it would be interactive where they would see our faces on the live stream, so they could put crowd reactions up. It would kind of be neat. So he said he's been drafting some hardware requirement for this, and he's still designing a production layout, and would like some feedback and input as he's planning on doing some testing soon. So before you speak on that, because he asked me to speak on that, so Israel, I'm going to tell you this. That idea is phenomenal. I love everything about it. I don't know if people will do it. Although I say don't know, and then I think to myself, there are people out there paying DJs to watch a DJ stand in front of his computer and online right now. A lot of DJs are doing stuff like that. So I would rather pay to have a seat that looks like I'm in the second row, and get the view from the second row and watch a fight or a baseball game or a football game, then watch a DJ stand there and go, I'm a DJ. I don't buy into that whole thing. Some of my friends are DJs and I love them, but I still laugh at the field. And I know there's going to be a DJ out there who's going to tell somebody I said that, and they're going to be, hey, you're not a real DJ, man. You don't believe. Okay, fine. I don't believe. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm not a real DJ. I've only been doing it for 30 years, but whatever, kids. So I like this idea. I would be all in for it. What about you, Jake? What do you think of this whole idea? And would you buy a ticket?
It's a good idea. It would depend on what it costs. It would depend on who's fighting. It would depend on what I had going on. It would depend on how bored I am. You know, I've never been one of those guys that like to watch stuff live, like in the crowd. I always liked the view from the TV screen anyways. It was much more clear. I've always preferred the cameraman's view over the octagon rather than, just unless you're sitting ringside and you're there. I mean, I don't know. They're just not the same.
Agreed.
It would depend on the price, and it would depend on, like, if I could get a couple guys together that wanted to, pay for it. If we bought one view, would that guarantee all four of us in the room are watching, or do we all have to pay our individual seats? How does it work? I understand the logic behind it. I probably
Great question, by the way.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't pay for that.
Over, yeah.
But I know there's people that would. There's people that buy a lot of things. So
people watch that stupid Tiger crap. They'll fucking do this.
Right. Yeah. It's not a far-fetched idea at all. Just we don't even pay for the normal pay-per-views. So, but I don't know. Yeah, it's just I usually catch the highlights the next morning or something. Somebody on Instagram will post the finishing clip, or I'll read you or somebody else that wrote a blog about it the next day. But there's definitely diehard fans that the only thing that keeps their wheels turning is the next fight. Who would do it for sure? Or people like Debbie Gamble, who MMA just makes her so happy. She would be one of the ladies who she would tune into that. She'd probably eat that right up. She's a diehard MMA fan. So yeah, there's a market for that, no doubt.
Yeah, I would definitely if Jacob was fighting, I would tune in. I'd buy my seat. It would be cool too, because of this format. They could sell the individual fights. Right. Your access. So if you're just wanting to see Jacob Kilburn and Nate Landwehr battle for the fucking King of Clarksville title, you can tune in. You can purchase that fight, and then when that fight is over, which includes post-fight interviews in the octagon and backstage post-fight interviews that will take place, you have access to everything related to Kilburn and Landwehr, but everything else you can't see. So unless you want, and here he said, Israel's here. I'll put it up here. Your view is dependent on the device and accessing the camera. So you watch in the living room with friends. I have the living room webcam view of everyone watching it. But would he have to pay for all that, or would he just have to pay for one, Israel? So if Jacob ordered it to watch from his seat, all his friends are sitting on his lap, basically, in theory, as because they only paid for one seat. So would they have to pay for 4 seats, or would they be able to all watch from one seat, and then you get the webcam view of everybody in the living room watching the freaking fights? By the way, those living room views would be awesome, because people are going to be stupid, shit-faced. Security won't be there to break up any fights that happen at a big drunken party, which would be awesome.
Yeah, I would almost venture to say that in the world we live in, people would do it just so they could potentially see themselves on camera in the crowd reactions. It's worth
on a UFC event. Yeah,
it's worth it to people that much. Just as self-absorbed as everybody is, that they would probably buy it just in hopes of making the big screen. Which, yeah.
Israel says one-time purchase, but it's one-time purchase. So you're saying if Jacob were to purchase this view from row 5, seat 4, and he's watching it, streaming it from his computer to his big screen TV, so all his friends can watch it. He's got a webcam on, which would be a requirement from what you're saying, and the webcam is shooting everybody on the couch, having cocktails or smoking out. None of that will be going on in Jacob's house. But I'm just trying to make it. I'm just trying to make him Jake fit in for a second, But
yeah, it'd just be virtually really big seats, I think. Which would be cool. But then you got. I mean, is it worth just for the camera angle and the type of people that are into like VR and like doing the virtual roller coasters and stuff like that? They'd probably be into that. I couldn't get into that type of thing, but that doesn't mean there's not a market for it.
Definitely market.
Clearly, there's a lot of things I don't do that there's a market for. So
Yeah, like the tiger thing. I only say the tiger thing. I don't dig any deeper into it, and it's so stupid, and it's a sad identifier of the general consensus of our community that get all into that, dude. And that all that stuff happened 15 miles from my house, and I still don't give a rat's tushy. It's dumb. It's stupid. There's so much wrong with that thing, and I don't even have to watch the show because I see all these stupid memes. So as soon as I start seeing the memes, I already knew I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to watch it. Let's see. Israel says, if someone whipped out their dick, I'd track IP addresses of each individual view so I can block as I'd still be broadcasting on a delay. Well, I would hope nobody would whip out their dick on a UFC broadcast, man. Oh, my God. I love you. I love you, Israel. But, Israel, picture this, though, bunch of people watching, 15 people in a room. They're drinking. 8 guys are cheering for, Jacob Kilburn. 8 guys are cheering for Nate Landwehr. And, for this conversation, Jacob's beating up Nate. And Nate's buddies, Nate's fans that are watching with the Jacob fans get mad. And it turns into the Hatfields and the McCoy. And you get that video for free, Israel, to put into your highlights, since you would be the streamer and the broadcaster. Would you first of all, would you play that live? Wait, hold on. Jacob is my half brother, according to Dean Toole. That is a fact, and it cannot be disputed.
Dean said something the other day that's got me motivated. He said that I was. How did he say? He said I was Dean Toole on a 145-pound frame. And I was like, okay. So I've been running every day. And, starting tomorrow, we're going to clean up the diet.
Nice. What up, DJ Queasy? What up, DJ Queasy tuning in? What's up? And, of course, shout out to Dean Toole who tuned in, the man behind Island Fights, and an integral part of Mr. Kilburn making his way up. I'm so glad that you came to see us and you came to fight with us and you became part of the Island Fights family for life.
That's right.
Oh, wait, hold on. We have an update on your genetic link to Dean Toole. Jacob is actually his son.
I don't know if I'm good looking enough.
Hey, we could tell if you're really related based on the answer to your question right there from DJ Queasy.
You're running in Gucci, though.
Are you wearing Gucci when you run, shoes or pants or anything?
If I'm
Gucci?
related to Dean, probably, yeah. I think he lifts weights in his red leather shoes. Yeah. No, I don't have style like that, but I'm learning. I'm trying. If Dean would take me shopping and just buy me one outfit, I would let him pick every clothing item. As long as he's paying, I'll let him pick me an outfit. I'll wear it.
Well, Dean, I know you like to dress your younger son, and Dean Toole just said, okay, so if he's buying the outfits, you'll wear what he buys you? Dean said, done.
Oh, no. I think he likes me enough that he'll actually do me right. We can be like twinsies or something, and then like.
Oh, no. If you're accepting the help of Dean for your fashion, your fashion is going to be 100% the polar opposite of who you are inside here. You are going to look like a cool
be in a banana costume.
Thug. You're going to be a thug. You're going to be thugged up in the Gucci and the you're going to be living it.
Yeah, and I'll
awesome.
be able to sell that outfit on Craigslist or Mercari.
I don't think Dean's gonna know. You can't sell Dean's outfits because they're gifts. That's wrong.
Oh yeah, that's probably a sin. I don't know.
That's probably a sin. He said that's probably a sin. Oh my God.
Hey, it is. Oh gosh, it's 10 p.m. here. So on that note, I probably
That's your warning to go. Are you dipping out on me, man? Oh,
Yeah,
Dean said
yeah.
Gucci ain't thug. I'm sorry. Gucci's classy. Pardon me.
Yeah, it depends on who you ask. I think they have different lines, different brands.
Dean, what would be thug then? What outfit? Before we let Jacob go, what would be the outfit that would be thuggish? Patrick Danner, David who? Which David? What David is tuning in? Oh, it's David Van Auken from Fight Bananas. Oh, the whole crew's up in the house now.
Hey, Dean is like that guy that goes to boxing practice wearing Michael Jordan basketball shoes. Roy Jones does that too.
So before you dip out, I know you said you want to go. Shout out to Fight Bananas, always do.
Yep.
You're permanently down there in American Top Team now. You just moved into your new apartment. So South Florida is now your home.
Yes.
And I guess, and 2 minutes or less. And then when you finish this question, give everybody your social media and then just go ahead and dip out. Dean said he's never worn Jordans ever.
I believe that.
So do I. Gucci. That's it. So tell us how you've adapted down there. You've kind of finally got acclimated to South Florida and the lifestyle, and how good it feels to be in that camp.
The gym's amazing. Very deep talent pool, rich with knowledge. People are pretty, nice to me for the most part. Particularly the American guys, everybody's been really helping me. And as far as the Florida life, with the season that we're living in, it's not like I can go everywhere and hang out or whatever, but I like the palm trees. I got to shout out to Coach Steve Bruno. He picked me a coconut from his backyard and put a straw through the middle of it. I got to do that for the first time, drink coconut water from the coconut.
Yeah.
My wife loves the beach. That's like her happy place. So obviously there's no beaches in Tennessee. So she's excited for all this stuff to go away so we can go to the beach. So I'm sure we'll have no problem adapting at all with between the good place to train and all the palm trees and the beaches. It's a good spot. And I'm closer. Well, actually, no, I'm just as far away from Dean as I was before.
I'm 7 hours from Pensacola here. My driving 6.5. Now, if Dean's driving, I'm in Tampa. Yeah. Now, if Dean is driving from Dean, how long? Oh, Jacob's.
This is what
I just had to trim mine off.
You gotta use
Black
the
magic,
balm,
baby.
and then you gotta comb it.
Correct.
Yeah. Who knows? I'll probably shave it all off tomorrow, though. My wife said no.
I heard her too. She's like, no. Hey,
or I let it get long enough.
Chicks dig the
start
beard.
waxing it up, and I'll have the mustache going up. But
yeah, because I'm wearing a respirator now when I go out in public and I'm doing all my stuff because I have to wear one because I couldn't find just a regular mask. I had to actually trim the beard down waist thin. It was not as long as yours, but it was thick, bushy. So I had to shave it yesterday. I was a little bit upset about that. But anyway, it used to be terrible. No, he said keep Devin Adams. That's just not cool, man. I thought we were fam.
that's okay. I have Devin's phone number, so.
Oh, I love it, man.
I have information that could lead to the arrest of Devin Adams, so I'm just kidding.
Men's grooming on Cage Side. Tonight's tips: beards, and how to take care of them properly with Jacob, the Beard Killer Kilburn.
Oh,
get your black magic, get your comb it out every day. Get that black magic in there. Get it nice and feeling good. And like you heard in the background, if she can hear me right now, Mrs. Kilburn, you like the beard?
She does. She does. She likes it.
I
don't think she liked beards before she met me, but
she didn't.
Converted her.
You've converted her.
I think she just loves me. I don't think that she likes other people's beards, but she likes my beard. So.
All right. Well, listen, brother, give us your social media so the fans that aren't following you already can follow you because we want to help you grow your brand.
Yes. So you can follow me at Jacob Kilburn UFC on Instagram. No underscores or any of that, just Jacob Kilburn UFC. You can follow me on Facebook on my personal page. Let me give a quick shout out to And Still Nutrition.
Always.
Taking care of me. The Grill Fellows, Harris Hope Martial Arts Academy, Brothers in Business Roofing, and Now You See TV. They're a Messianic ministry that works off of online stuff. Got some other sponsor deals that are like this close, so we'll shout those out next time. But if it wasn't for those guys supporting me, I couldn't be here doing what I'm doing. Thanks for giving me some time. And
well, listen, thank you for just popping up, impromptu and jumping in, off the cuff. Always good to talk to you. You're welcome here anytime. If I'm ever live, you can always just jump right in. I will always welcome you to the show. You're an awesome fighter, but you're even a better human being, and that's what I dig about you more than anything else. So with that being said, y'all. Make sure you follow the Killer Kilburn, Jacob the Killer Kilburn, UFC star in the making. You know what? And you ain't allowed to jump on the train late after you start beating the crap out of people and, gets like 6 or 7 wins in a row. Then you can't go, I was over with Jacob when you weren't, because I'll call you on your BS. So hop on the bus, Gus. Get in with us.
You'll still be welcome. You'll still be welcome. You just won't be in the VIP club.
Yep, that's right. And we'll have somebody working the velvet rope. They ain't going to let you in.
That's right. During this time of quarantine, if you happen to have an extra $20, you want to go to myfightshirt.com, you can grab one of the official Killer Kilburn t-shirts. That would help a lot with just living and training costs, particularly with your stimulus checks that I know you guys are going to get and your tax returns. Go to myfightshirt.com. They are an essential business. Keep them in business. Help me out. Do it for your country. Yes. Do it for the Lord.
Everybody wins by getting a Jacob Killer the Kilburn shirt.
Yes. Do it.
That's it. Hashtag sales pitch.
My website's up now, so you can go to killerkilburn.com.
Killer Kilburn. So it's www.killerkilburn.com.
That's right.
/ awesome. No, I'm just kidding. We can't. You should get that in. So
it'll be a page.
Well, listen, brother, man. Like I said, thank you for taking time tonight, hang out with us. Enjoyed the conversation. This is the first time I've done an interview with you on my show where you were not in the gym in between classes. So it was kind of cool to have that. But you enjoy the rest of your night, man. As always, stay blessed, and thanks for being you and for sharing you with all the rest of us, man. We appreciate it.
Cool. Have a good night, man.
Thanks, brother. So that was Jacob the Killer Kilburn. He's going to go ahead and click off his link right there, I believe. So he'll do that. He's out. www.deanson.com. Dean wanted me to talk about Game of Thrones. Haven't watched it. Tried a couple times, couldn't get into it. Then he asked me to talk about Ozark. I'm like 4 episodes into season 2 because I'm pacing myself because I don't want to binge it all out. Some people like to do the binge watch. I like to savor it. I can't sit there and binge out on something for too long. It makes me nuts. So slowly I'll finish. Not even slowly. I'll be done with the whole entire series in 3.5 weeks, and total from when I started watching it. So that's pretty good for a series. You know what I'm saying? You normally have to wait, to all this time or blah, blah. But anyway, so I can't talk about either of those because every time I try to say, even mention, Dean goes, stop it. You haven't watched. So I can't talk about it because, and shout out to Jason Ellis from Relentless Sports Management. He's awesome. He does good stuff. He's got a lot of fighters here in Florida. Jessica Borgia is a Bellator fighter, and he's been with her from jump. He looks out for his folks. Dean Toole is working on some events, man. As soon as he gets the okay and he gets a building, Island Fights will be back up and running. Our first event coming out of the pandemic is going to be an amateur show. But, stay tuned because there's some big things coming. We're going to do all kinds of great stuff, with Island Fights and all that stuff this year. So it's going to be exciting. So Dean posed a question. It's running on the bottom of the screen here for you guys that are watching. Dean asked me when I was on the phone with him. No problem, Jason. They're real. Dean asked me. Oh, yeah. We're going to say during the pandemic. I got you. I'm sorry. My bad. Dean asked me today. We were laughing on the phone talking. And by the way, Dean isn't feeling great today, man. So send Dean a little love, so he feels better. But Dean wanted to know who's balling out there and banking stacks now that they ain't up in the club every night, dropping money on a Hennessy and vodka and Red Bulls, and popping bottles. So I wonder, who's out there stacking that dough and getting ready to come back to the club big in a big, big way when we're allowed? Or will this change in our social lives turn some people into non-club goers when we get back? I wonder. What do you guys think? Jacob don't like Ozark, Dean. That's your son, sir. But what do you guys think? And it's kind of an interesting question. We were laughing about it, but do you think some people that were always out in the club balling and going crazy and just dropping money, you'll have to go back and watch from the beginning, dude. I can't recap the whole show. We covered a lot of ground with Jacob tonight. But do you think that people are going to change the way they socialize and, spend their recreational dollars, if you will, when we get back to the world? Jacob was saying how much he appreciated you as his father. I can't blame him. You got your son to the UFC. You're going to rework his wardrobe. You got him hooked up with a great management company. You're a dad that truly takes care from beginning to end. I mean, we're all a little jealous that you're not our dads. So, that's just it. But anyway, so do you think people are going to change? No, he's not the Godfather in North Florida. He's the Godfather, period. AKA, he's the Mahdi, the Man of the Year. That's what he is. And that's a title he gets every year. But do you think people are going to change? Do you think they're going to say, you know what, man, I haven't gone to the club in 3 months and I'm still good. I have all this extra money, so I don't need to go back to the club. Do you think this is going to be a wake-up call for some people to change their evil ways, if you will? I wonder. Any of you watching, are you going to change your evil ways when we get back to the real world? I don't know. I do know, though, party time. By the way, don't forget next Monday, it's a holiday. Next Monday is 4/20/20. You know what I'm saying? So they should just rename it to the D. You know what? Devin, I like where your head's at, bro. Jason Ellis, people go wild when they get set free. I don't know. I mean, some people are going to go out there and just fucking get wild, just get tore up from the floor up. But I think there's going to be some people that don't. And I think you're going to be surprised at how many people actually don't go out and get wild when they get set free. It's definitely going to be an interesting thing to watch and see how the world develops and comes back from all of this in all areas, from the club scene, to going to live sporting events. Are people going to be wanting to go to live sporting events when this all ends? Are they going to feel comfortable being in an arena or, a huge, stadium? Me, I'm going. If they opened up football tomorrow, I'm going to a game. If they opened up fights, I'm going to a fight. If they opened up a baseball stadium during finished off spring training, I'd be there. Devin Adams says he still thinks people want to. He still wants most people to stay 6 feet away from him. I'm starting to see that general consensus as well. By the way, back on the politics thing for a minute, because we were talking earlier about the Democrats screwing up UFC 249 to get even with Donald Trump and Dana White, because Dana's friends with President Trump and, blah, 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 blah. So I don't know what song because I can't watch it right now, Jason. But last week, Bernie Sanders dropped out of suspended his presidential campaign. And I've been telling people, do you guys know why? You know why he suspended his campaign? And this is the first time I'm going to give Bernie Sanders credit for being someone intelligent. For the last 4 weeks or so, we have been living, especially the last 2 weeks more so, we've been experiencing a degree of socialism when we go shopping or when we leave our house. Today I was at Publix, and I had to wait in line at Publix. I was told how many eggs I could buy, how much toilet paper I could buy, how many paper towel rolls I could buy, how much meat I was able to buy. But while I was waiting in line, that's just what happened when I got in the store. But I was waiting in line with some people, and we started talking, and they were all upset about standing in line. And they're like, I shouldn't have to stand in line. I'm American, blah, 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 blah. And so I asked them, there were about 12 people. I was telling Dean this. There were about 12 people there, and I asked them, I said, let me just ask you guys, I'm not trying to cause a ruckus or be a jerk, but who did you guys vote for president in the last presidential election? 8 of the 12 people said they voted for Hillary. So I felt I was going to be fighting an uphill battle, but I continued on my path to give them the message, because I don't think they realized what they were getting into by trying to support Bernie for this election. For the last 4 weeks or so, like I said, we've been experiencing a degree of socialism. And I don't know one person, not one, even somebody that wants socialism, not one person do I know that's happy when they realize that they have to go to the store and they can't get the cheese they want, or they can't get those paper towels or toilet paper or eggs or milk or bread. And they can't buy as much of it as they want, even though they got the money in their pocket. They can't get what they want. And if they want to do that, right now you can go to a store, but, try to pick up the items you want from, 5 different stores. But why should we have to be inconvenienced to do that? And in a socialist nation, you wouldn't even be able to do that because, your shopping purchases get tracked. So there's all kinds of crap. But Americans realized, even those that wanted to be socialist, because, they want to be lazy. They don't want to work for anything. They want everything handed to them. And they're starting to realize that idea is stupid. Socialism can work in a small country like Sweden or Norway. Socialism will never, and I mean ever, work in a place like the United States. First of all, we've had our freedom way too long. Second of all, you're not going to be able to change this place like that. And third, nobody wants to stand in line for toilet paper. Good night, Jason. Or milk or eggs. I want to be able to walk into the grocery store when I feel like it. I want to be able to walk into Walmart, and grab stuff in the middle of the night when I feel like it, because that's what's convenient for me. Socialism won't work. And that's why Bernie Sanders pulled out, because he's hearing the pulse of the country, and realizing that nobody's going to back his play after this. Donald Trump's approval rating keeps going up, and the Democrats are shitting their bed because they know, they couldn't stop President Trump before, and they tried. Oh, have they tried? Just throwing all kinds of random shit at the wall in prayer that something would stick. Nothing stuck. That's it. Because it was all bullshit, fabrications, lies, mudslinging, garbage. If President Trump had done any of those things and was actually culpable, it would be something, but he's not. I mean, he banged a porn star. I guess he was married at the time, so he cheated on his wife, so I'm not condoning that. But he banged a porn star, and I'm not even going to say her name because she doesn't deserve it. But he banged the porn star. Then the porn star claimed all this crap, took him to court, lost, and basically had to give President Trump a refund with like 400,000% interest, I'm guessing, because well over 100 grand, 100 something. I don't remember the exact number, but they had to pay him, and then they had to pay his legal fees. After they accused him of some kind of sexual misconduct or assault, whatever it was, that wasn't true. So, you're strong and you're a gangster when you get sued for something like that, and somebody tries to take you down with that, and they end up having to pay you a big dollar settlement because they lied. When that all happened, and President Trump was exonerated and was awarded a settlement, that's when all the Democrats should have realized right then and there that, what, they're not going to stop President Trump. So instead of trying to hinder everything and crush the citizens of our nation, and mostly hurt the citizens in the communities that you're supposed to be serving, that you've spent nowhere near enough time to serve your community, because how could you when you were spending every waking moment trying to figure out how to disrupt the presidency of Donald J. Trump? None of you are good at multitasking, so your districts, your voters suffer. Because what have you done for them? There's even been a couple of senators and congresspersons that have come out publicly on major news networks and said that they were ashamed of being part of the Democratic Party because, when politics, it's always, this side will give this if this side gives that. So there's always a, back and forth, and, but the Republican president, Donald Trump, has implemented a few things since he took office that the Republicans thought wasn't a good idea. The Democrats wanted something. So in order to get the Republicans to get, tit for tat, if you will, we give you something, you give us something. President Trump put some stuff through that a lot of the Republicans didn't support, but he also did it because some of the stuff that the Republicans presented, obviously, were probably right in form and hopefully in execution, which is a rarity from that party these days. But the Democrats and the stupidity of them all some of them have this philosophy that, and they've said this to their fellow congresspeople, where, one would ask somebody, hey, why didn't you vote yes? Well, I wanted to vote yes, but I didn't. But again, why? We asked the Republicans and President Trump to give us this, this, and this, and they conceded and gave it to us. And you still voted against it. Why? When we got exactly what we wanted. Well, I voted against it because even though it's what we wanted and what we lobbied for, and it'll help our constituents and our communities, I'm voting no because I can't let President Trump win anything. I voted no because I can't let President Trump win anything. Let me say something. If you are in public office and you got voted there, okay, by the American citizens, then guess what? It is not your right, and you are misrepresenting those that put you in office to only follow your opinion or toe the party line because they all want to crap on President Trump. Now, while you may think that some of your voters that voted for you believe the same thing as you, they're going to stop believing when you stop taking care of their communities, which a lot of you have not done properly since President Trump was elected, and all of your mission statements were say no to everything President Trump does. Doesn't matter if it benefits our voters. You know, we're just going to let 16-year-olds vote and bring in more illegal aliens. So we'll create our own voter base because they're going to be dependent on us. Yeah, Nancy Pelosi wants to let 16-year-olds vote. These are the same kids that eat Tide Pods and are running around doing the Corona Challenge and licking ice cream containers in stores and licking door handles on stores and licking toilet seats. 16 years old. So, but Nancy Pelosi says they're mature enough to vote. When did she become mature enough to vote? Because she's the biggest child of them all. But anyway, I've gone way too far in politics. I apologize. But I am right. So, UFC 249 was canceled by the Democrats. That's the truth. Read between the lines, kids. It's all out there to be seen. WWE is now an essential business in Florida and will run live shows Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays from the Performance Center and Full Sail University. I want to know who's balling and saving money, and are they going to stay out of the clubs when we can go back to the clubs? A lot of interesting stuff. I'd like to thank my unscheduled guest, a great friend of the show, Island Fights family for life, Jacob the Killer Kilburn, for stopping in tonight. Just unannounced and ready to roll. I'd like to shout out Devin Adams and Mr. Dean Toole. Let's see. Shout out my boy Jason Ellis. Shout out to Mr. David Van Auken. Keep up with him on Fight Bananas. He's putting out good content, so check him out. Israel Cantu, thanks for the good question out there. I'm glad you gave us a topic for discussion. DJ Queasy and everybody else that tuned in tonight, thanks so much, man. So you guys have a wonderful night. Matt Weibel from First Round Management, Cozart Towns. It's my dude right there. Anyway, guys, that's it. I'm out. I hope you guys had a good time. I should have some guests tomorrow evening. Schedule ones or unscheduled ones. Sometimes it's more fun to just go on schedule and see what the fuck happens. But thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. I hope you guys had a lot of fun. So, boys and girls, thanks for tuning in tonight. Appreciate you. Thanks for letting me be a part of your life today and for you guys being a part of mine. But that's it. Good night. I'm Christopher James. You've been Cape Side.